and welcome to another story time with Miss Karamy from the Crystal Lake Public Library. Do you know what my family really loves to do? We really love to go on vacation. We like to go on vacation all over the place, and one of our favorite things to do when we're on vacation is to visit fun, unique bookstores. I know you can go into some of the most amazing places and find the most amazing books, and sometimes little stuffies and toys, which I like too. I do really like a stuffy. I have a lot of stuffies up there, and even more at work. I do, because they're very fun. But on this particular vacation, we found the most amazing bookstore, and it was in a boat. Yeah, it was a bookstore inside a boat on the water. I know. We went to England in the summer, and so we found the most amazing little bookstore on a boat. And something that I like to do when we go to someplace far away like that is I like to find a book to buy that is special to that country. And so I bought Mog the Forgetful Cat by Judith Kerr. This is a very special book there because Mog is a very fun cat there. But you all know that I love cats. Yes, I do. I have three. I have three of them running around right now. Hopefully they will leave us alone while I'm telling the story of Mog the Forgetful Cat. Sometimes I'm very forgetful too. Are you ever forgetful? Do you sometimes think, wow, I should have eaten my lunch already, and it's already 4 o'clock and I didn't eat my lunch? Sometimes I think, oh, that was crazy. I completely forgot to put my shoes on, and I walked out of the house and got in my car and drove to work in my slippers. Then I have to turn the car around and go home and put on my shoes. Sometimes I do that. But let's see what makes Mog such a forgetful cat. I'm very excited to see that. I used to have a cat that looked just like Mog, and his name was Charlie. Oh, look, there is Mog and his boy. Yeah, he looks very happy, doesn't he? He does. It's a very good thing to have a boy, isn't it? Look at that. Mog also has a girl. That's very exciting. A brother and a sister and a cat named Mog. I love it. Well, once there was a cat named Mog, and she lived with a family called Thomas. Mog was nice, but not very clever. That means sometimes Mog is a little bit slow. Yep. Mog was nice, but not very clever. She didn't understand a lot of things. A lot of other things she forgot. She was a very forgetful cat. Yes. See, this is Debbie Thomas. And this is Mr. Thomas and Mrs. Thomas. And this is Nikki Thomas. What a good family Mog has. Yes. Sometimes she ate her supper and then she forgot she had eaten it. Yeah. And sometimes she thought about something in the middle of washing her leg, and then she forgot to wash the rest of it. Looks like she's got a question, doesn't it? Once she forgot that cats can't fly. Uh-oh. Oh. Mulligan has forgotten that I'm reading a story. Yes. And the most of all she forgot was her cat flap. The cat flap led from the kitchen into the garden, and Mog could go out. Yep. And in again. Mog could go out and in. Yes, that's very clever. It was her own little door. That's wonderful. Then she could go inside and outside. My cats like to go inside and outside. Yes. Ooh, look at those beautiful hydrangeas. I love hydrangeas. Oh yes, Mog seems to love them too. The garden always made Mog very excited. She smelled all the smells, and she chased all the birds, and she climbed the trees. She ran around and around with a big fluffed up tail. And then she forgot the cat flap. She forgot that she had a cat flap. She wanted to go back into the house, but she could not remember how. Oh, Mog. Oh, Mog. In the end, she sat outside the kitchen window and meowed until somebody let her in. Meow, meow. Like that, I bet. Yeah, that's what my cats do. Yep. And afterwards, you could always tell where she had sat, and this made Mr. Thomas very sad. He said, "Bother that cat." But Debbie said, "She's nice." Oh, I see. Mog sat in the flowers. Naughty Mog. That's probably not the best place to sit. Then it was breakfast time, and Mog forgot that cats have milk for breakfast. She forgot that cats only have eggs as a treat. Oh, Mog, right on the table. She ate an egg for her breakfast. Mrs. Thomas said, "Bother that cat." Debbie said, "Nicky doesn't like eggs anyway." So Mog was just kind of helping. Yep. Mog looked through her cat flap, and it was raining in the garden. Mog thought, perhaps the sun is shining in the street. And when the milkman came, she ran out, and the milkman shut the door. Uh-oh, Mog. The sun was not shining in the street at all. It was raining. A big dog came down the street, and Mog ran. And the dog ran too. That dog looks like he might be a little hungry for a Mog. Poor Mog better run. Mog ran right around the house, and the dog ran after her. She climbed over the fence, and she ran through the garden, and she jumped up outside the kitchen window, and she meowed a big meow, very sudden and very loud. Yup. Mrs. Thomas said, "Bother that cat." And Debbie said, it wasn't her fault. Nope. Uh-oh. I see. She spilled the squishy peas on the floor. That's unfortunate. Mog was very sleepy. She found a nice warm place, and she went to sleep. She had a lovely dream. Mog dreamed that she had wings. That's a very exciting dream. I think that I would like to fly like that too. Do you ever dream about flying? I think that that's a good dream, Mog. She could fly everywhere. She could fly faster than the birds, even quite big birds. And suddenly she woke up. Mrs. Thomas said, "Bother that cat." Uh-oh. I think that she was sleeping on Mrs. Thomas's hat. Debbie said, "I think you look nicer without a hat." And Debbie gave Mog her supper, and Mog ate it all up. And then Debbie and Nicky went to bed, because that's bedtime, isn't it? Mog had a rest too. But Mr. Thomas wanted to see the fight. Mr. Thomas said, "Bother that cat." See, Mog is blocking the way with his tail. Silly old Mog. Yes. Mog thought, nobody likes me. And then she thought, well, Debbie likes me. Debbie's door was open. So Debbie's bed was warm. Yes, Debbie's hair was soft like kitten fur. Mog forgot that Debbie was not a kitten. Oh, yuck, she's licking Debbie's hair while she's trying to sleep. Uh-oh. Debbie had a dream. It was a bad dream. It was a dream about a tiger. The tiger wanted to eat Debbie. It was licking her hair. Oh no, Mog. Debbie shouted. Mog jumped, and Mr. and Mrs. Thomas said, "Bother that cat." Debbie said nothing. She was still crying because of the bad dream. That's a very scary dream to have. I don't think that Mog meant to make her think of tigers. Mog ran out of the room and right through the house and out of her cat flap. Poor Mog. She was very sad. The garden was dark. The house was dark too. Mog sat in the dark and thought dark thoughts. She thought, nobody likes me. They've all gone to bed and there's no one to let me in, and they haven't even given me any supper. I seem to remember them feeding her. Yes. Then she noticed something. The house was not quite dark. There was a little light moving about, and she looked through the window and saw a man in the kitchen. Mog thought, perhaps that man will let me in. Perhaps he will give me my supper. He doesn't look like a very supper-giving kind of guy, does he? No, he looks like a spoon-thieving kind of guy. He's taking all the good stuff. Yes. She meowed her biggest meow. Wow! Very suddenly and very, very loud. The man was surprised and he dropped his bag. It made a big noise and everyone in the house woke up. Mr. Thomas ran down to the kitchen and shouted, "A burglar!" The burglar said, "Bother that cat." Mrs. Thomas telephoned the police and Debbie let Mog in, and Nikki hugged her. That was a very brave thing for Mog to do. Yes. The policeman came and they told him what happened. The policeman looked at Mog and he said, "What a remarkable cat." He looks pretty remarkable, doesn't he? I've seen watchdogs, but never a watch cat. She will get a medal, I think. Debbie said, "I think she'd rather have an egg." That's quite lovely that they're having tea with the burglar. That seems like a rather nice thing to do, because sometimes you can have tea and a burglar. Whoa. Mog had a medal. She also had an egg every day for breakfast. Mr. and Mrs. Thomas told all their friends about her, and they said, Mog is really remarkable. And they never, or almost never, said, "Bother that cat," to Mog for bravery. What a sweet story. Gosh, I love Mog. I sometimes feel like him more than I feel like me, with a little bit of cotton in my noggin. I feel a little fuzzy sometimes because sometimes I'm just sleepy and I'm not thinking right. Do you ever get like that when you just don't take a nap and you get a little foggy and you just maybe need a good little rest? Rests are fun. I like rest. Okay. Well, I think it would be fun if you came in and you told me your fun cat story, if you have a cat story, or if you have a dog story, or a rabbit story, or a gecko story, or what kind of pets do you have? I would love to know. I would love to know. So come on into the library. We'll see you very soon, and you can tell me all about your pets. All right. I'll see you soon, my friends. Bye-bye.